Beep! What is up, ninjas? My name is Sam World, and in today's video, we're going to be looking at recreating some of the sounds from Alok's remix of Astronaut in the Ocean. Now, I was going to be making a more generic slap house, slap bass tutorial, but there's just too many out there with like robotic voices, so...
Hi guys. Today I will be teaching you to slap your ass to make a slap bass drop.
I was like, let's do things a little differently like Alok did, as he did this like slap house remix at a very low 86 BPM range, so you can kind of theoretically grind to this stuff. But anyways, guys, we're going to be looking at recreating some of the sounds and a couple of the fills, of course, that he utilizes, because this is a question I get asked a lot. Now, if you want to support the channel, guys, make sure to head over to evilsounds.com where you can find all my sound design work. There is a slap house pack that's going to be coming out this Friday if you guys want to check it out, and if it's a good fit, consider supporting. Other than that, let's get straight into this, guys. So I made the sounds and I made them for the pack. However, we're going to talk a little bit about the theory behind them. Now, the sounds are going to sound like this. We're going to have the main bass. Now that face is doing a lot. We're going to have this nice little kind of fill that he has at the end of every 4 bars. Now, try my best to get it exact. I got kind of close, but there's something about it that just makes it very unique. But we can still talk about the theory behind the way that those kind of like fills are made, which he likes to utilize a lot. And again, the theory is the same. The only thing that changes is the tone. For instance, if you just wanted to make a very simple kind of like that, then we're going to talk about how to do that today as well. But for here, we're just going to be going with this sort of kind of Reese sort of fill. And then, of course, we're going to utilize the string. Now, he has a legit string, I feel like, but we can emulate something similar to it in Serum. So it has the same vibe. It just sounds different, so that might be a good thing and a bad thing, depending if you make FL remix. And if you don't, then I think it's a little better that you can still utilize the sound because it's different and use it in the same format that he has. And again, you guys can check out his song. So the first song we're going to look at, guys, is going to be the main bass of the song, which is the slap house bass. And you can call it whatever you really want. Now, the sound is going to be made up of a couple of layers, because oscillator A, oscillator B, and the sub are 3 oscillators, 3 different sounds kind of coming together. You can consider 4 because of the clicking noise from the kick. But from here, we're going to have a couple of effects, and let's just kind of dissect this down so you understand how it's made. Now, the first thing we're going to do is go with a saw. Now, if you notice, there's a bit of a knock on the saw. And the way we achieve that is by one, arm face down. If you're making a monophonic bass and you're not trying to make it sound analog and you want constant power hit, like when you make sidetrans and stuff, arm face always goes down, so the face doesn't decide to, you know, go, oh, I'll start up here, or I'll start down here. I'll start at your house. I'll start at the studio. No, you always have it starting at the same position. Now, if you notice as I change that, there is a change of tone that occurs with that, so that's why we want to have that. Okay, from there, you can see there's a bit of knock. So what I like to do is envelope 3, I go into the matrix and I go source and I put envelope 3. From there, I route that to global master tune. And what this is going to do is it's going to make everyone slap. And what that means is oscillator A, B, and the sub are going to have a pitch envelope attached to them. The whole thing, so that when we play this and we bring this envelope 3 now, 0 sustain, no attack, and a bit of decay, we get those hits at the beginning, and that's just because it's kind of like a slingshot. We go really high up and really back down fast in the synth, and that creates that effect that we hear. Whenever you have something changing very suddenly, then you always get a click. So it's like, instance, I go like to click, but yeah, I don't know if that pertains to everything live. When cars crash is a click, a very loud one. All right, so from there, we're gonna have a sub with a triangle wave. And then we can actually not have that in the thing because we're not really going to need it. And then we're going to have here a FM sound from the digital FFT at seconds, which in essence, it's kind of going to be kind of when you FM assign and assign together, you get a similar sound to this. Instead of doing that in one patch, we do it just by utilizing a wavetable that the god Steve Duda has supplied for us. Now from here, we play, again, arm face down, and now we play with the face. And again, this matters a lot because it's the difference between sounding... You can see there's changes in tone in the bass, so that's why it's very important for me, the arm face, to stay there, because if I don't have it like that, this is what happens. You can see like, and that's one of the biggest irks I have with some people that make sound banks and don't understand that concept. But anyways, we're gonna go arm face, the face there, and then we're going to use the sub. It feels like it's needed. From there, we're going to utilize an MG-Low 24 filter. The only difference there is the fact that the higher the number, the stricter your mom. What that means is your mom lets you go out. You're like, hell yeah. In this scenario, it just means like frequencies, how are they let out? 24 is more strict. A 18 is less strict. A 12 is yeah. And a 6 is me. I'll provide you guys with condoms when necessary. All right, so we're just going to move the cutoff down, and we're going to shape the sound with envelope 1 by just routing it there and opening it here. So we should be getting a good tone out of this already with the envelope set up that way. And then envelope 1, the way we shape the sound, low sustain, some decay. And then we're going to add a click, of course, direct out. You can kind of hear it. It was a little hard. That's why I was moving it around, because I was like, wait, is it even there? It's there. All right. So with that out of the way there, and we have this and direct out on the click, we can start going into the effects. So with a lot of the slap house basses, they just sound OTT to shit. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's the sound of the OTT. And there's a video out there of, I believe it's, I forgot his name, Fox Stevenson, saying how OTTs ruin your sounds. And he makes a point. And I'm trying my best to like follow that, what he states, that OTT just messes with your sound a bit too much and you get something dirty. But when you get something like, to me, it's just kind of like, it's needed to get the sound. And then from here, we're just going to fine tune, like get this right. Now you can play with OTT if you want to add highs. You can add more highs. You can kind of clamp down a bit on the mid. So essentially, you're kind of EQing or shaping the sound, the tones of the sound. And when you're doing sound design, it's okay to see stuff like, if that's what you kind of want. We're not mixing, we're just trying to get certain tones out of this. And you can see it kind of changes the sound completely when you're working with saws mainly too. A lot of saws, like some of the Showtech ones from back then in Big Room, you could tone the sound with the EQ, which is the cool thing. Okay, we don't want that. That sounds like back somewhere too crazy. So let's just go back. All right, so we're going to get kind of like that knock. And then if you want to add reverb, because it sounds good. Usually I recommend with these kind of sounds to add a very tight reverb, which just means a very low size. So like a room reverb, low decay, high, low cut up, just so that you don't get any low frequencies in there. And then you can kind of shape it like so. It definitely adds like a sort of vibe. It's very subconscious, the thing, but it's there and it makes the sound feel a little more alive. And that's the kind of reverb I like to see, and when, especially with basses that are going to be constantly playing. So with that out of the way, that's going to be the bass. Now we're going to move on to the fill. Okay, now usually these kind of fills, the easiest way to make them, let's say you have a patch and you're trying to do Alok fills, is to hear the sound and just hear how it's shaped. So for this one in particular, obviously it starts and it opens up slightly. So we could sort of stuff like that. We'll bring in the square. Now this effect that we hear, it's crazy because what we do here is we're detuning the saw and the square, so they start going at different speeds. And as you get different speeds, it kind of sounds very unstable. So if I play this, it sounds analog-y to a lot of people because they're used to putting this to the 2 and they're like, why is it wide? And they just assume every digital synth is wide. But no, you can do the same effect that you can in analog inside of Serum. And you get like this really cool kind of like effect. Which is super cool. Now, the way we set up the effect, the first important thing you want to kind of work with is just going to be your tone. Because you can make this effect with anything. You could even go like spectral, and you're just changing the tone. But at the end of the day, you're still going to get this sort of effect. But what Alok does a lot is he uses a lot of like just simple sounds like saws and squares to do these kind of fills. Now, there's a bit of a weird pitch bend that occurs in that sound that I was trying to emulate. Again, a little too finicky to kind of get it perfectly. But the idea here is now we use an LFO to bring to the filter. We can use this in envelope mode. We put a 1/4. That's going to be how long it takes. And then we're going to start from the bottom. And like Drake said, now we hear. So, and that's going to open up. So from there, you can decide the mod, how fast you want to go. You can do really cool stuff like, you know, for some reason, this is your idea. You can do a lot of really cool fills this way where you kind of go. And then from there, if you want to kind of get fancy, you could do something like this. and do a lot of really cool kind of stuff, as you can see. So that's more of a pitch down effect that he's done in some of his older tracks. You know, Who Gives a, I think that was the song I really liked. That's when I first found out about Alok. It was badass. Okay. And finally, the last sound guys that we have, a lot of people might not care about it, but it's going to be the stringy sound, which whenever I want to emulate string with a synth, I usually use a saw, I use a filter, and a bunch of reverb. So yeah, we just have a very standard pluck going into a low pass, and we're going to shape it with this envelope here by routing there, opening that up. No slap bass going on with envelope 3 here. And the effect of high reverb sells it, high size. Now in theory, I should be able to get like these very sick stabs. But usually you would be able to emulate strings very good with the Silent 1 reverb, but in Serum, I just can't get the same tone out of the reverb like in Silent 1, but that's how we would make this sound. You could do cool like... That sounds more stringy, but we want it really high, so... With the reverb, we can high cut some of the top, we can use an EQ to make it warmer. And then the delay here is doing the Haas effect, which is messing up the phase of the saw by making the left signal a lot faster than the right, which gives us width. Like so, and then reverb. Okay, and those are going to be the main sounds. Now, there's one more that we can talk about, and that is going to be this really kind of 808-y sub in the break, which just sounds like, well, not like that, but we got to solo that guy there. Which is going to be utilizing a sine. We're going to do the same slap house effect, which is the pitch envelope 3. But this time we'll route it to the course because we don't really have a lot of oscillators to route it to, so we don't simplify that down. No need. From there, the higher you go, the higher pitch the click is. We can go any, like way higher and get like that little knock. Distort, from there IQ or put a filter, low pass, just to get rid of the... And then from there you got something that you can hear at very low keys, but if you want it subby, there you go. Other than that, guys, those are going to be the sounds that you find in Alok's Astronaut. The rest are just going to be like drums and stuff, but these are the synth sounds that I heard going through the song, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll catch you guys next time for another video. You guys take care. Sen is tired, and peace out.